The shocking truth behind Nippon Ham's most innovative coaching hire this year is not the revolutionary new structure of the coordinator role itself, but the deeply personal toll it is already exacting on the man entrusted with it, Coach Kaneko Chihiro, whose greatest worry isn't the development of his young pitchers, but the frightening possibility that his own physical discipline might crumble under the immense logistical pressure, leading him to half-jokingly express concern that his body might literally get smaller. If you've ever felt the overwhelming strain of trying to perfectly execute the duties of two demanding roles simultaneously, you instantly understand the gravity of this situation. Welcome to 606 Prime News, where we dissect the hidden stressors and logistical challenges that underpin success in the highest echelons of NPB. We have arrived at a fascinating, almost tragic intersection of innovation and human limitation. The Fighters organization, known for pushing boundaries under GM Takeda, has established the coordinator role, effectively creating a dedicated high-speed bridge between the developmental heart of Nigun and the pressure cooker of Ichigun. And who better to fill the pitching coordinator role than Kaneko, a man whose reliability and trust level among players is legendary, dating back to his 2-year stint coaching in the minors. But the very necessity of this bridge demands constant flux. Kaneko himself admitted, "I'll basically be a Nigun, but periodically visiting Ichigun," confirming that he will sometimes even participate in the specialized residual training for starters at Escon during team road trips. This is not just a job, it's an organizational commitment requiring what amounts to physical omnipresence. We know Kaneko is no stranger to self-discipline. The report mentions how former pitcher Sawamura Sho, post-retirement, keeps a game-ready physique through dedication, rising early to train at Escon specifically to avoid overlapping with current players, a standard of professional rigor that Kaneko clearly shares, having continued his rigorous regimen even during off-season camps. But Sawamura is retired. Kaneko is now an indispensable, actively working asset. When pressed on whether this demanding, travel-heavy schedule would prove exhausting, Kaneko's response was characteristically humble yet startlingly honest. "It's not like I'll be traveling every single day, so maybe I can handle it, but I personally have a little anxiety about whether I'll be able to get my own training done." He elaborated, noting that very few coaches maintain such intense personal training schedules, concluding with that worrying, half-joking phrase, "My body might get smaller." This is the silent killer in modern baseball coaching, the systematic overextension of key personnel. To truly grasp the gravity, consider the insight from veteran scout Ijima-san, who has spent decades analyzing NPB transitions. The coordinator role is absolute gold, because historically, pitchers promoted without a dedicated intermediary like Kaneko show an average of a 17% drop in strikeout efficiency during their first 30 Ichigun appearances compared to their Nigun performance. That gap is the psychological hurdle. Kaneko's job is to make the jump feel seamless. Ijima-san continued, "The problem is you've taken a world-class professional athlete and asked him to transition his focus from physical maintenance to perpetual logistical readiness. His fitness isn't vanity, it's his mental anchor and his proof of concept for the players. If Kaneko starts to visibly fade, the players, especially the young ones, notice that vulnerability instantly." Some traditionalists might argue that this entire structure is an overreaction. They would say, let the Nigun coach handle Nigun and the Ichigun coach handle Nichigun. That's why we have separate staffs. This line of thinking, however, fundamentally misunderstands the modern challenge of development. The Fighters, with their emphasis on youth and rapid promotion, cannot afford the developmental stagnation caused by poor communication. The coordinator role exists precisely because the traditional model failed to properly transfer momentum and context. Kaneko is not just relaying stats, he is transferring the precise feeling of a successful bullpen session, the specific adjustment made to a grip under pressure, and the personal relationship built over months. He is the repository of institutional player knowledge. This brings us to the dramatic climax. Kaneko Chihiro is currently an organizational martyr, dedicating his physical capital to ensure the developmental system functions flawlessly. If the Fighters struggle this season, Many will point to player performance or managerial decisions, but the real underlying failure could be logistical, a systemic breakdown caused by demanding too much from one hyper-dedicated individual. Imagine the scenario. Kaneko misses his early morning lifts because he's flying back from a hasty Nigun visit to observe a crucial Ichigun bullpen session. He loses the sharpness he needs, and subsequently, his ability to intensely relate to the athletes diminishes. The players rely on his sharp, focused guidance. When he jokes about his body shrinking, he's inadvertently highlighting a massive organizational blind spot. Are the fighters supporting the support staff? He is the most crucial lubricant in their new high-performance machine, and if the lubricant runs dry, the entire system grinds to a halt. His individual sacrifice, while admirable, sets a precarious precedent. For the fighters to truly succeed long-term with this progressive structure, they need to ensure the system protects its most valuable bridges, the coordinators themselves.
We, the fans, want Kaneko to succeed. We want him to be perpetually guiding young pitchers like a perfect clone, the very image the transcript conjured. But his worry in comment forces us to ask, what measures are in place to ensure Kaneko Chihiro doesn't burn out before the All-Star break? We must acknowledge that the fighters' future success now hinges on the muscle mass of their coordinator.
What does this relentless dual responsibility mean for the long-term sustainability of the coordinator role? And more importantly, how can the Nippon Hom organization better safeguard Kaneko's invaluable expertise and health during this demanding transition year? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video, share it with fellow fans, and subscribe to 606 Prime News for the deepest dives into Japanese baseball strategy and culture.